What is up guys, Andy Forest Team Runner here, and today I'm giving you guys my first impressions of the Puma LIBERATE Nitro. So there we go, not one but two runs done and dusted in the Puma LIBERATE Nitro. First a 5-mile easy run and then a 10-mile long-ish run at around about a moderate pace. Today I'm excited to give you guys my first impressions of this very, very exciting shoe. If you're excited for today's video guys, make sure you give it a like, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel for weekly run content, and we'll start with a technical overview. So we'll start off by saying we were true to size in this shoe, UK size 13, which is standard for all of my shoes. I have a good thumb width in the end of the shoe. In terms of width wise, it fits beautifully, nice and snug. We'll talk about that a little bit later. And in my UK size 13, it comes in at the second lightest shoe I have ever owned, lighter than my very first version of the Next Percent. The only lighter shoe I have is the Atreyu base model. This thing is 239 grams or 8.4 ounces. Now at this stage I would normally tell you what the stack height is, and I've seen multiple reports on the internet of it being 28 millimeters of stack height in the heel and 18 in the forefoot, meaning we have a 10 millimeter heel to toe drop. But checking on the Puma website, it doesn't tell me what the stack height is. However, it confirms it's an 8 millimeter heel to toe drop. So I sadly can't tell you exactly what it is, but I'm going to guess it's in and around that 28 to 20 or 28 to 18 or 26 to 18. It's somewhere around that region. And as always, we'll work our way from the heel counter area, talk around about the ankle collar, we'll move on to the laces, the upper, we'll talk about the midsole, and then we will move on to the outsole. So as this is such a lightweight shoe, as you can imagine, there's not a lot going on in and around a lot of it. It is extremely lightweight material. The heel counter is very, very flexible. There is really not a lot going on there at all. There's a few extra overlays. We have a bit of plastic here and a bit of plastic here, just to kind of firm things up, should I say? Not really that it does a lot. And we have a strip down the back here just to give some kind of structure and hold this upright. But other than that, as you can see, it is very, very flexible. It does snap back, but it is very, very flexible. We've got some cushioning here around the ankle collar area. We have some cushioning here, as you can see either side, which is very nice. And we have a lovely paper thin material that goes around and sits nicely under the ankle bone. Again, we have a very thin tongue with a bit of padding about 1 centimeter down. So if I show you this way, you can see here we have paper thin material at the top, and then around here where the laces sit over the forefoot, you've got a bit of extra cushioning just to provide that comfort over the top of your foot. And we have a really nice, I would say, structured lacing system. We have sort of a lacing cage, is what I'm going to call it, that goes all the way around here, which just holds the eyelets in place, and it gives you a really good secure lockdown. There's nothing on here that I've found so far in my first two runs that has given me any instability or insecurity, I should say, on the top of my foot. I've been able to get a really solid and secure lockdown, which feels great. The rest of the shoe is a mono mesh upper. It is very thin, it is very lightweight. I can see right through it, and that, as you can see, spans all the way round to the side here. And bar some of these plastic overlays on the top of the Puma logo and emblem, there really isn't a lot going on with this shoe on the upper, which lends itself to being so lightweight. We then have their nitrogen infused midsole, which runs the length of the shoe, and it is absolutely stunning. I love it. We'll come on to my thoughts on the midsole later. But it's a perfect combination of responsiveness and cushion without being too soft and spongy. It's like a baby brother of a Hyperion Tempo. And then speaking of the Hyperion Tempos, we have Puma Grip rubber outsole in the forefoot. We have area here in the midfoot, which is exposed midsole, and then we have very muddy Puma Grip rubber outsole at the back there. A very, very similar pattern to the Hyperion Tempo. And in terms of the technical overview, that is that. So moving on to my first impressions, how have I found this shoe? As I've kind of alluded to, I really, really like this shoe. Now, for those of you who are just tuning into this video and missed last video, this shoe was gifted to me very kindly by a viewer called Nick, who has sent me this shoe to test. He absolutely loves it as a daily trainer. And once again, Nick, if you're watching, thank you very, very much. I'm so grateful you sent this to me because I can't believe that I was nearly close on missing out on these new Puma shoes. I've got to be honest with you, this has made me want to try more of the Puma range, and I'd love to hear your comments below of some of the new Puma shoes you've tried. Let me know what your favourite is. So for me personally, this is obviously my first entry into this new line of their shoes. I have to say it combines a combination of loads of things from different shoes for me. It's kind of like a mashup of a few different things. It feels like it's got a profile of the Peg Turbo 2, a little bit less cushioning at the front. It very much feels a little bit more like a minimalistic racer, which is odd considering all the shoes I've been running in lately have been such thicker stack heights than this. So it does feel like I'm rolling back the clock with this shoe, but it's so lightweight and fun. It's so good. We've got this thin material that runs around here, which I'm seeing on a lot of Nike shoes, and in terms of the tongue as well, it's kind of offset to the side the laces aren't, but the tongue is, which reminds me of the Nike shoes that wrap around your ankle there nicely. And the other thing is the bottom half, which very much is a case of the baby brother or sister of the Hyperion Tempo. We've got this nitrogen infused midsole, which is absolutely gorgeous. I am a really big fan of this nitrogen infused midsole. It is a technology that I am loving. You guys know how much I love the Hyperion Tempo. This thing is no different. Yes, there's less of it. Yes, this is not going to be something that I would consider doing for longer marathon intervals. The cushioning's just not quite there for it, but it combines that exactly so similar grip on the bottom, which is really, really grippy. So let me tell you briefly how I've used it. We did an easy run on it on the first day, on the Friday, and I just kind of felt like it was good. But I knew this shoe wasn't geared up for easy running, if I'm honest with you. I knew this thing had to go faster. So I've taken it out today, when you see it the day before, for a nice 10-mile long run. Yes, I did, as you can see, hit some of the trails, very flat, buffed out trails. I know this is a road shoe, so it was nothing technical at all. It was just fire track trails, very gravelly, very stony, really great to run on. And I absolutely love this shoe. We ran at a moderate pace and it just came to life. It was beautiful. And just the quicker I go in this shoe, the more it gives back to me. And I kind of feel like with the Hyperion Tempo, it opened up over time. I kind of felt like after 50 miles, it started to give something a bit more back. And then after 100 miles, it really came into its own. This thing has kind of warmed to me a lot quicker than the Hyperion Tempo. And I'm just wondering if this is going to continue to give back, or if I've kind of peaked with it already. I'm really, really enjoying what it's giving me. Or if it's going to open up even more, get even more responsive. The cushioning is going to really, we're going to see if it reacts like the Hyperion Tempo does, where it really starts to warm up as you put more miles in it. Then I guess it's a feature of the nitrogen infused midsoles. It's just the way it works. So yeah, I think what it also screamed to me when I was running in it also, as I said, the profile of the Peg Turbo 2, it very much felt like that. The snug, it felt very snug and secure. They do state on their website that they've designed this mono mesh upper to really give you a secure fit. I wholeheartedly agree. I think it's fantastic. I do have a good thumb width at the end, so it's nice and big. The length is perfect. Some people might even find it too long. I'd be scared to go down a size just because of the width, or even half a size. The width hugs it nicely. I'm happy to have a bit extra length. That's fine. It's very much the same as my Nova Blast. I've got a good thumb width at the end of that. And in terms of performance, yeah, it's just going to be wow. So just from the first 2 runs, I've got to say it's great. I'm more excited though to see what it does next week when I do a bit of a speed test in it. The only downside with this shoe, and there is one downside and you guys have to be aware of it, is it does cause some Achilles rubbing issues. You might end up finding you get some blisters on the back of your foot. It was reported straight away by a lot of other reviewers and other people running in it, and I can confirm that after today's 10-mile run in it, around 7 to 8 miles, I did start to experience some discomfort at the back. What people have been doing with this shoe is taking a Stanley knife, a box cutter knife, whatever you want to call it, and kind of taking off around about 1 centimetre at the back here, just this paper thin fabric material, and just taking it down. So basically taking that paper thin fabric material off. and they've experienced no issues whatsoever. So if I'm brutally honest with you, that's what I'm going to do with this pair. I'm going to do that tomorrow so that when I take it out, I don't get any of that issues. How do I see myself using it? Obviously, we're going to do the speed test. I'm going to say straight away, I don't think this is going to be a good long run shoe. I don't think this is something you can cover the miles in. I think after a while, you might struggle with it. I mean, it might be fine. The lightweightness is great. I think for me, I'm thinking 10 to 12 miles maximum is a great distance for this. Like today, it just worked absolutely beautifully. I wouldn't intend on taking it on any more miles. For me, I think if this is going to react how I think it's going to react, then the workouts next week that I've got, which you guys will see because I'll do a speed test video on it, will be absolutely perfect for it. Something like 1, 2, 3 minute repetitions, going at a fair lick, 5k pace, quicker than, a bit slower than, something like that. I think this is where this is going to shine. So overall, massively positive first impressions of this. Can't wait to get more miles in. As I said, be warned with the Achilles. I am going to take this off. I will give you an update when I've done it and how it's performing. After that, apparently it makes no difference to the performance whatsoever, but I am going to do it just to be safe. And other than that, this is going to be an absolute beauty of a shoe to add in to the rotation. And as I said earlier, please do comment below. I know loads of you have tried some of the other Puma shoes that are out there. They've got such rave reviews and they're so affordable. This thing is £90 and at the moment a lot of people are getting it for £70 because there's a discount code out there, which is just mind-blowingly good. Well worth a try if I'm honest with you. So I will update you next week with a speed run test. I'll let you guys know how it gets on with that, but quite frankly, this is going to be getting a lot more miles. So Nick, you're a legend. I'm so grateful you introduced me to this shoe. You have hit gold with it. It is going to be in the rotation now. This is going to hit 100 miles very, very quickly. I can confirm that right now. So there we go, that's my thoughts on the Puma Liberate Nitro. It's a bit of a mouthful. Let me know in the comments below if you've tried it. As I said, any other Puma shoes, let me know what your favourites are and let's get that discussion going. Thank you so much for watching once again, guys. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure you give it a like, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel for weekly running content, and as always, I'll see you in the next one. Until then.